Hi everyone and welcome to your daily tarot reading. This is for Tuesday the 31st of July 2018. I hope you've had a wonderful July. We've had a heat wave in the UK, so we had 6 weeks of sunshine, which is, I saw a lady on the news say, I don't even remember what rain looks like. So it's very unusual for us. It's ended now. It started raining again, so I think people were worried about the lack of rain. They're not used to it. Okay, let's have a look at what the cards have to say about today and really the end of July here as well. Right, interesting. This card, the Nine of Wands, well, we have first of all, we have the Nine of Wands, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles. So these are all minor arcana cards, so these are all temporary energies that are floating around today. These aren't big life themes, so there aren't any big life events likely in the cards today, such as moving or ending a relationship, something like that. Now, the Nine of Wands, first of all, means the worst is behind you. You're out of the woods. Usually he's got a bandage on his head as well. It's kind of, he's been through it, but usually it's clearer that you see that he's fought his way through this barrier, this obstacle, these wands kind of being something that he had to push his way through. He's now in front of the wands, but he's carrying one himself. So this is kind of like working out in a really difficult way what it is in life that's important to you and what you engage with and what you're actually successful at. So for instance, it's like you set out to be a rock star, and this is a RuPaul example. You set out to be a rock star, but then one day you decide to just throw on a wig and play around with gender a little bit, and people love that, and you never planned to be a drag queen, but people love it so much that it kind of pushes you in that direction. So that's one way of kind of finding your path in life, but the whole process can feel quite difficult. There can be periods where nothing is happening, so for a decade you may just be floating around and really feeling like, I need to search the world for my opportunities, rather than realizing that the key to finding the right purpose, because each one has a pretty crystal. I mean, if you're looking at this from a decorative visual perspective, there's not much in it. I like the white crystal just as much as I like that purple one or that green one or the red one. So you can choose there's no right or wrong answer here. It's about finding what it is you want. And he's got this chain around his neck and he's got a rune on there, and that rune looks like a tree. It looks like growth, but it also reminds me of a key. So the circle, the key, the tree, all of that is a symbol of, if you want to complete this process, if you want to find out what your purpose in life is, then look inside of you. That's where the answers are. They're not outside in the world. And if you don't know how to connect with yourself, then look into meditation, look into Ramana Maharshi. He's got a really great meditation. It's called the Who Am I meditation. And that's really wonderful. It's a 4 or 6 page leaflet. It's really easy to learn. And it's like peeling an onion. You peel away your layers. It's a fabulous meditation if you want to just find out who and where you actually are. It's really fun. I would recommend that to anyone. And it teaches you something, and it's insightful, but it really narrows your focus. So the worst is behind you in terms of finding what it is you want. The eclipse has been really helpful with that over the last couple of days. Maybe you've had a personal reading with someone to help you to discover what your life purpose is or what your vocational aptitudes are. So you're out of the woods kind of thing, and you can now take your wand and you can walk off into the world and start getting busy. So we see the Eight of Pentacles here, this young boy really working very, very hard and very well at creating these pentacles. And he's almost like a child prodigy, because this kind of quality of work and this kind of consistency isn't really what you'd associate with a child. So he's precocious in the sense that he's so skilled and good at such a young age. So what this means is that if you have decided to do something different in your life, either moving somewhere or starting a new business or changing paths in your career altogether, you're going to feel like a child again. It's like when you go to France and you have to speak French, it's like you feel like 13 years old again, because it's like, bonjour, ça va, je voudrais, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's like, it's difficult. So we all have to kind of, be a little bit humble at times and say, I don't know much about this subject, but I want to be an expert. So you know what you want now. It's time to train and to work at getting this moving so that you can actually succeed in practice. But this card gives you motivation and encouragement, and it assuages your fears. If any card could, then it's this one. It's really comforting to know that this new work that you're considering is something that you're a prodigy at, and that you're going to do really good work. He even has realized that the same color can be boring on the eye, and he's created different shades of wood for these pentacles. So he's a genius. The red shirt, passion, life purpose. He's chosen what he wants to do at this young age, and then he's even got a bit of privacy that he's built there for himself so that he can focus on his work, and his feelings and the problems of the world don't interfere with what he's doing. You need to create your space sometimes. He shows up again in this picture, and he's handing some flowers to his granddad there. Granddad is a very wealthy man. He has built, you know what, this is granddad. The boy has become granddad. Through his hard work in life, he's created this wonderful security. He's created a house, a career that pays him. The people love his pentacles. They bought them. They were like flying off the shelves. So he received value in terms of money from making these things. He probably expanded the business. Now he's got a comfortable home. He's got security. He's been able to look after his physical health. His daily routine has been really fulfilling and nurturing. He's included the plates that made him so rich in his own decoration of his own home. So he's got everything in life that financially money promises. Money promises to make us feel secure, and it promises to make us feel like if we have a problem, we can just pay and make it go away, which in some cases in the world is true. If you're trying to rent something, and they have to credit check you and reference you and things like that, if you have the money to just pay, you just pay and you make your life easier. So yes, no one's disputing that money can make things easier. But the reality is that money doesn't make you happy, and it's not your security. Your security is your ability to work and to create these magic plates, because that will always bring in money. And so the skill is the security. He may have used it so much that he's now been able to retire because he's amassed such a fortune. But really what he's done is he's used that spare time that he's got to have children of his own. He's got a son who's married, and they've had a child, so he's a grandfather now. To 2 children. He's got dogs who he likes to take on walks. He is spiritual as well. He's got this red cap covering his head. So he's humble. He's grateful for what he has. So he manifests even more abundance and prosperity because he doesn't say, I'm entitled to this. I worked. Those older kind of people who will sit there and tell you about how they made it on their own and no one helped them and it was so hard. And they're really proud of that. And yes, it is something to be proud of, but don't become bitter about it. Don't try and, don't make it a competition. And he doesn't. He's humble. He's grateful for what he's got. He's covered in purple as well. So he's turned to spirituality. And that's a really nice way that this deck has added meaning to a card, because I don't think the other 10 of discs do this. It's a man who's holy. He looks kind of spiritual. And a lot of Taurus and a lot of earth signs, Virgos, Taurus, and Capricorn, they work very hard to feel happy and secure in life. They realize that money isn't your happiness and security because they're usually the first ones to make it. Once they realize that money isn't everything, they look into other things, family, and things of this world. And then once they realize those aren't completely fulfilling either, then they turn to spirituality. And that's the final step. And that's the spirit. We all need to have a spiritual awakening in this lifetime if we want our lifetime to be divine, and if we want it to be divinely informed, and if we want it to mean something. We've got to ask what the greater meaning is, what the bigger picture is. You're on your way. You're no longer in denial, or you're no longer clueless. That is behind you now. You're ready to work, and the work that you're doing, yes, may be humbling. You may learn things that are new, or you may have to start things over and start at square one, but you're able to swallow your pride and do that. And the work that you start today, if you're starting a new business, or if you're starting a new course, or a new diet, or a new way of commuting, or you're moving, or whatever it is, it's a wonderful step to start taking practical action, because it's going to end up as something that's long-term and permanent and that you enjoy. And also it's a gate card. It leads to other opportunities. So living there and having all of this wonderful space and security gives him the time and ability to come up with ideas and to share his insights, which then add a whole different type of value to the world. So he's not done adding value yet. He's not retired, he's wise. But instead of working with physical things, plates, he's now working with his intellect, and he's working to communicate, and that's how he's adding value. So it's an ongoing process, and the thing that you start today will take on a life of its own and lead you places that you would have never been able to predict or expect. So really go with it today, and if an opportunity does come along, grab it. It'll turn out well. 10 and 9 is 19. 19 and 8 is 17. 27 rather. 2 and 7 is 9, and 9 is spirituality and completion. So this is a 9 card. By connecting with spirit, you've been able to complete this process of picking what your purpose is. And it's only through connecting with the spiritual process that you're able to choose the one that's right for you. If you haven't done that, if you haven't been able to do that, it's a great day and it's a great time to have a reading on that topic, because it's all about what is my life purpose. And it's really easy to look at that via an astrology reading. So if you don't have that, if the penny hasn't dropped, then get in touch with me for a personal reading. It's gregoryscott.com. Just click on the readings tab to order your personal reading with me. I use astrology, tarot, and numerology in my readings. The astrology chart in itself gives me a blueprint of who you are. It shows me what your talents are when it comes to work, what your life purpose is, whether it's the same as your vocational aptitudes or whether it's separate. It tells me what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what's destined for you, where you have a choice, and also what's coming up in future in areas of love and health and romance and spirituality and all of those kind of things. So if you're interested in a private reading, then please get in touch via the website. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button. It is ever so helpful to me. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.